This is the plaintiff, Marianne Gambella. She says after her birthday dinner, she went for a walk, and as she passed the defendant's property and walkway, she tripped and fell. There was a hazardous raised concrete block on the walkway, which caused her to fall and injure herself. She was taken by ambulance to the hospital, had 3 broken teeth, 35 stitches, and a torn muscle. The defendant refuses to answer her or pay her bills, so she's suing her here for the $5,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Yolette Cherubin Heil. She says, firstly, there was nothing wrong with her sidewalk. Secondly, this woman has no proof whatsoever she fell in front of her house. On the day in question, her gardeners were there, her tenants were there, and no one ever saw this woman. Well, she's sorry if the woman was truly hurt, but it didn't happen on her property, so she owes nothing. She's accused of sidestepping a lawsuit.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Marianne Gambella?
Yes.
You are suing Yolette Cherubin Heil for $5,000 in personal injury that you say you have undergone as a result of her negligence in maintaining a sidewalk?
Yes.
Okay. What happened?
Well, it was actually last August 12th. It happened to be my birthday. I was out for dessert with my husband, my son, and his girlfriend in the next town from where I live. And after we had dessert, I decided that I wanted to walk home to burn off the calories from dessert. So,
alone?
Yeah.
On your birthday, you couldn't get any of these guys to walk back with you? I can't believe.
I wanted to walk. I
know. Well, they need to want to walk too. It's your birthday.
They're not so much into their weight as I am. So anyway, I decided to walk home, and must have been about maybe 4 blocks from where the ice cream parlor was that I came upon the sidewalk.
Was it day or night?
It was around 7 o'clock at night.
Was it light or dark?
It was light.
And the walk was going to be how far?
I would say approximately for maybe about 1.5 miles.
Great.
So I was walking along, and I came to this part of the sidewalk. I could see that it was rough. As I walked over it, my foot twisted, and then I started to fall, but my right foot caught into a piece of concrete.
Oy.
And I went down, and I was knocked unconscious. And the next thing I knew, there was a young man standing over me saying, lady, you're all right. You know, it's so funny because when my foot caught, it was like everything went in slow motion. I knew I was going down. I knew it was going to happen. But I didn't realize that I had actually passed out. So there was this young fella, I guess he was coming home from work. He said, don't worry. He said, I called the police. I called an ambulance.
How much time? Come on up, husband.
Yes.
How much time had passed when you got that phone call? Were you already expecting her?
Maybe only about 15 minutes.
Yeah. All right, so you get the phone call from him, and he says your wife had a fall.
Right. He said, there's been an accident.
Jeez.
I said to her, is she okay? You know, so he said, oh, yeah, she was unconscious. He says, but she looks like she slipped on the sidewalk. There's police here now, and the ambulance will be here any minute. And I was there in 5 minutes.
Okay, so what were your injuries? You ended up having to have dental surgery?
So what happened was when I got to the hospital, I knew that I cut my forehead open. So he said, I'm going to have to put in stitches, internally and externally. So it came to about 35 stitches. So then my husband...
35 stitches? Wow.
So then my husband said to me, do you know that you chipped 3 teeth? And the minute I heard that, I said,
it's one thing when I have 35 interior and exterior stitches on my head, but chipping my teeth, no, I can't go out looking like that.
Well,
okay.
that's just about, I paid a fortune for these teeth. They're all veneers, and I was like, whoa, baby.
So you had to go in for dental surgery?
So, yes, I did go to the dentist a few days later, and it was $3,000 to repair those 3 teeth, $1,000 a tooth. I also thought that I had broken my leg. So they x-rayed my leg, and they said that it wasn't broken, and they recommended I go to an orthopedic doctor, which I did later on, and then he sent me to physical therapy, and then I went to pain. It just became a whole fiasco.
What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm a retired RN.
So then why are you suing for $1,800 for lost 9 days of work?
Well, after I retired...
If you would have worked?
No.
Okay.
That has
well,
nothing,
what are you suing for?
No, after I retired, I had opened up a small delivery service company, and I'm paid as I work.
Okay,
And-
do you have any proof that you would have made $200 per day and that you lost 9 days?
Well, I have my tax return that,
What she does have is.
Hold on.
just that the
You have the
company
letter.
wrote a letter saying that I didn't show up.
The company that she works for is an
You know,
independent contractor, wrote a
Okay.
letter saying that
All right,
she.
let me have that.
And she has
And
pay
let me
stubs.
talk to you. When did you first learn that all this had happened?
The house is a rental, and it's a two-family rental.
Do you own it?
I own the house, but I don't live there.
No, right. So you rented. The renters are living there.
Right. The
Okay.
tenants actually moved out. So it was when people were cleaning the house for me after the renters moved out that they found letters that she actually had a lawyer sent me letters. And in the letter from the lawyers, it actually states that she broke her hip.
Can
I
I
ha-
see the letter from the lawyer?
Yes.
Did you break your hip?
No,
Why is your lawyer sending letters that you broke your hip?
I don't know. I only hired the lawyer to find her. I couldn't find her. Because
Well, why
when
would you
I-
hire a lawyer to find her? You hire a
Oh.
process server or a private investigator to find her. Okay, now this is a lawsuit. It's not a letter. It's an actual lawsuit filed
Yes.
by a lawyer.
Yes.
I lost 3 teeth and I fractured my right hip. That's what it says. In fact, this is an affidavit that you signed. You signed. So you can't blame it on the lawyer. You signed it as part of a lawsuit in front of the Supreme Court.
Well, I didn't fracture my right hip.
Well, did you read it before you signed it? Where did this guy get this?
I don't know.
And what happened to this lawsuit that's out there? What happened to it?
Nothing.
So now you filed 2 small claims cases.
Right.
Correct.
Why are you doing that?
They knew where to find
was
me.
We did
hoping
that to
she'd
make
show
show
up
up
in
in
one-
one of them, and the other
Yeah,
one
but
we
you're
dropped.
what do you think this is? This
No,
is
but
you
the
can
other-
only file in the place where
The
something
other-
happened.
but
You
the
can't.
I'm sorry.
But she avoided us. So we
May I
didn't
So
know.
what you mean she avoided you? You guys, like, folks, she owns the place, but she lives elsewhere.
Right.
So you need to find her. That's what everybody in a lawsuit has to do.
Your
The
Honor-
place was a
Your
rental
Honor-
place. She's not hiding.
Your-
She's not a
Your
convict
Honor, this
who's
is-
like underground, living an underground life in a cave
Well, I
somewhere
never
in
heard from
Afghanistan.
her.
Are you listed?
I am listed, and I am, by the way,
Wait, are you really listed?
I am listed, and I'm a Wall Street regulatory auditor. I'm not hiding. The first house was bought before I got married, so the house is listed under my maiden name.
Oh, so you're
Right.
not like,
The second
a gun-toting, alias carrying. Okay, all right, I got you. But
No.
now let's talk about something else here. You didn't fall on her property. You fell on the sidewalk because the sidewalk had what?
I have
Do you have pictures of
pictures.
it?
I do.
Yes.
Let's see. Do you have pictures of the sidewalk?
Yes, and
Yes.
this is my realtor also. She can tell you about the sidewalk.
Which one? Because these all show a pristine sidewalk. I want to see the sidewalk she tripped over.
I don't have that because there was nothing wrong with my sidewalk.
Oh.
I have a title report that says there's nothing wrong with my sidewalk.
Wait, there's nothing wrong with the sidewalk?
No. I don't know.
Okay, you have pictures of it. Now, this is where. First of all, what is it that we're supposed to be looking at? This little thing, that's what you tripped over?
No, it's a lip there, Your Honor.
On the,
Yeah,
it's
I-
on the right, put towards the right.
It says 3 inches. You'll see with a ruler. There's one measured with a ruler.
I'm not seeing anything there that would cause anybody to trip.
Well,
This is,
I did. I mean, I
I'll
have
show you.
35
I know you
stitches.
did, but the question is, did you trip because you tripped? Because there's other reasons to trip besides somebody else's fault. Sometimes we just misstep. And I'm not seeing 3 inches there, I'm seeing 1 inch there. Do you have an obligation to keep up the sidewalks?
Yes.
And you say yes. Okay.
This is the town code right here.
Give me that.
It says that we have to clean it.
Safe
Not
repair.
toy.
It says maintain it and safe repair, right? My concern, however, is that I have been handed by my staff while we have been discussing a ruling by a judge in your first case that says that she doesn't have an obligation to keep up the sidewalk. And I'm wondering why the judge
It
says
depends
that
which
and why
piece
you
of
haven't
it.
told me that the judge said that.
Judge said that?
Did the attorney tell you that you didn't have a case because she doesn't have an
No, he
obligation?
didn't. He
Okay.
told me he dropped it because he couldn't find her.
That's what he said. He said.
That's what
Why
he
would you
told me.
drop the case because you can't find her? You get a judgment, you get a default judgment, and then you end up...
He said she never answered any of the letters.
Except
he
for that's
sent.
not what happened in court. That's not what I'm seeing.
Look.
Court's in recess. I want to look over your town ordinances a moment.
All rise. Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, somebody trips on the sidewalk in front of your house and they injure themselves. Are you responsible?
I would not be responsible, but people would push for me to be responsible.
People would definitely push, but are you?
No, you're not responsible.
Why?
Because that's the city. You have a right of way to walk on the sidewalk where it's paved.
Fair enough, but you're the one that's the closest to figuring out, right, whether the sidewalk is safe or not.
If there's snow and you didn't clear it, you might be responsible, for example.
Okay, well, that's an interesting point, going inside the courtroom.
All right, folks. You have a duty based on an ordinance in your town of Valley Stream to keep the sidewalks in good and safe repair. And the penalty for not doing that is that you can get fined. Mm-hmm. What you are asking is to extrapolate from this a duty to pay for damages to you. In other words, a tort obligation, right, that she neglectfully kept that sidewalk and you fell, and therefore now she has to pay thousands and thousands of dollars in the bills. That's your position.
Yes.
So this is the order that was entered in your case on April 7th. And that judge says defendant's not the owner is not subject for liability for injuries sustained unless there is a statute or ordinance which imposes tort liability. In your first lawsuit, you were told in no uncertain terms. And I'm having such difficulty thinking you don't know this, because that order came to your lawyer, and then your lawyer had to have shown it to you. But let's assume for a moment that you didn't know. And let me just rule on the merits on this one. You want me to find her liable for a tort to you, for this personal injury, right, this is what we call a tort in the law, right, based on an ordinance that says that she's got to keep it safe and repaired. And that's not the law in New York. There is specific case law which was cited by the judge in the order that specifically says that is not the law. So unless the ordinance also imposes personal injury liability, which the ordinance from the town of Valley Stream does not, then she's not liable for a tort. That is what it meant when that judge said that she is not liable for it, because there is no ordinance imposing personal injury liability. And that is what my independent review of the case law, doing my own research separate from that judge, also shows. And that's what I would like to believe your lawyer told you, because that's why you hire a lawyer. So my verdict in this case, therefore, is for the defendant. Good luck, folks. And I'm very sorry about your injuries. You look great. I hope you're doing better.
Thank you.
Okay, full sides, hold on, please.
And why don't you walk with her every once in a while?
So the defendant prevails in this case. Ms. Gambella is on her way out of the courtroom. You heard the judge.
I heard her.
You loud and clear. No question, the defendant's not on the hook in this case.
Right.
The judge still doesn't believe you don't know about that first lawsuit. How could that happen?
And you know that I feel really bad about that, because I didn't know about it. I had hired an attorney, and he dropped the case for various reasons, and we just said we'd go somewhere else.
Well,
we'll go to
you should call that attorney back and find out what happened.
You think?
know, just for your,
you think?
I think so.
Okay.
Sorry about this. Thank you. Feeling better?
Much better.
Good. Thank you very much. Okie dokes. Now, here comes the defendant on her way out of the courtroom. I'm sure you feel better about this.
I feel much better that this is over. I mean, I feel bad that she got hurt, but at the same time, I knew that it wasn't my fault. And I'm glad that the judge, is so smart and she figured it out.
Well, she looked into it really well.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
I trusted her.
Good for you. And congratulations.
Thank
All right?
you.
Thank you. Sign some documents on your way out of the courtroom. All right, very, very interesting case. What do you think?
Okay, you know what? The real answer to this is it just depends on what state you live in and even what city you live in. There are some places that impose more duties on homeowners than others when it comes to sidewalks.